look in the mirror and I see Chinese, but I don't speak Chinese, I look in the mirror and I see my whole family and they're speaking Patois, and I grew up here in Toronto. I speak French.
Meet Craig Wong, the owner of Toronto's Patois restaurant, and he's sharing his Chinese, Jamaican, Canadian success story.
Were you starstruck by anybody you got to see during this festival?
I've been starstruck quite a few times. Seeing Jake Gyllenhaal, seeing Idris Elba,
yes.
Someone I'm a huge fan
I hope
of.
he gets that 007 role.
No, I would love that.
CBC Toronto's special TIFF correspondent, aka Toronto Raptor Patrick Patterson, shares his final thoughts on covering his first film festival. Hello, I'm Maribel Taruk. Welcome to Our Toronto, the program that tells the stories of our city. And we've got a lot of great stories to share with you in the next hour, including a new hotspot for wine growing in Ontario.
It's unexpected. I'm sure my friend that came with me today was surprised, and she lives locally, just didn't know about it.
More and more people are finding out there's a hidden gem in cottage country. Wineries are starting to pop up in Bruce County. Well, we are excited to bring you a new series here on Our Toronto. We're showcasing the stories of inspiring and accomplished Torontonians, from overcoming struggle to making a contribution in their communities. It's called Voices of Our Toronto. And we kick things off with the story of a local chef whose background couldn't be any more Toronto. Craig Wong is the chef and owner of Patois, a wildly popular restaurant that's inspired by Wong's Chinese Jamaican background.
This is one of my favorite shops in Toronto to come and visit, and we shop here on almost a daily basis. We make stops in here and we pick up all the little knickknacks that are very unique to the stores here. And this is the shop owner, Mikey, over here. Respect, Mikey.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us, man.
There are a few places in the city where Chef Craig Wong is in his element, and Caribbean Corner is definitely one of them.
Fresh breadfruit, like stuff that you just like roast that over flames, embers kind of thing. You get that roasty, toasty kind of flavor. It's so delicious. They have all these different kinds of choices of like plantain. So you don't just get like one kind, so you get like the fresh coconuts over here, and like this is like the ones that you want for the water versus the older ones, which you want for the flesh. There's so many different things that you can do with the coconuts. June plums, another one of my favorites. It's sweet, it's kind of sour. It's perfect for juices, You don't find this in very many stores. It's the scent,
You smell a mango.
Yeah, I love that. Like, this is heaven to me. One day I want to retire. I want to have a mango tree. That's it. That's all I want to do.
That's your dream.
That's my dream. Mango tree. Maybe a lemon tree, mango tree. That's basically it.
In the meantime, Wong's living some big dreams. Born in Toronto to Chinese Jamaican parents who emigrated here from Jamaica in the 1970s.
I'm typical Toronto, mixed cultures, mixed ethnicities. I look in the mirror and I see Chinese, but I don't speak Chinese, I look in the mirror and I see my whole family and they're speaking Patois. And I grew up here in Toronto. I speak French, it's that whole celebration of cultures where we're mixed kind of bag of ethnicities and we all come together to make something really diverse, really beautiful.
And it's in this Kensington Market shop where his Jamaican side flourishes.
This makes perfect jerk paste, jerk sauces, and this is what I love using. Whenever we go to Jamaican weddings, like this is the stuff that we carry on our own. We're seasoning it ourselves. Like we start bringing things around, and it's really that kind of celebration of our culture. And this is what I love about us.
And childhood memories come racing back.
I remember coming into like these stores and like being a young kid and just waving these things around, just being a bad kid and just having fun with sugarcane, and we'd have sword fights with sugarcane and we'd chase each other around.
But not too far away in Chinatown is where another side of Wong shines. He's brought us to Anne's Magic Kitchen, one of his favorite Chinese restaurants. And where does this chef go first?
Hi guys, how's it going?
Hello. straight to the kitchen where he finds more inspiration.
It's almost like the paints on a painter's palette. So you see like all the colors that they're using, and they're building a dish from these like bases. What's in there?
Out in the dining room with the crew from his own restaurant, Wong's passion for Chinese cuisine is clear.
So this is called mala spicy boiled fish fillet, and it's actually like a basa that they poach in stock, and then they top it with chili oil. And then every time you pull that fish up out of that, you're gonna pass through this Szechuan chili, like garlicky, like hit kind of Szechuan oil. So it's super powerful, super pungent.
As a chef going to another restaurant, how do you view, what do you do with that experience? Because I'm always curious to see why chefs go to other restaurants.
It's kind of like musicians listening to each other's music. Like they listen to it purely out of joy. And I love to eat what other people are cooking because I feel like I kind of know them a little bit after tasting their food.
Learning and teaching. Here's Chef Wong demonstrating how to eat dumplings filled with crab meat and hot soup.
I usually pick it up by the top, nice and carefully, because this part right down here is super thin, and it can break at any time.
Okay.
And I kind of make a bit of an incision. I kind of bite the top off. And what I actually do is I pour a bit of vinegar inside. And it's totally different for everybody. Some people prefer it on the outside, some people prefer it on the inside, and kind of sip it from here. There you go. Wow, it's so good. Then I just take it and I just bite the whole thing.
Yummy. Gotta love food you can play with, right?
Gotta love food that can injure you.
Of course, I just had to give it a shot. That is super good already.
Yeah.
Okay, and then just...
One time, one shot.
You like how I got you to explain it, so
Love
it
it.
cooled off a little bit for me? Here goes.
Like a pro. Loving it. Tastes good? High five.
But it's this dish that sparked Wong's imagination, don don noodles.
Szechuan chili oil, hand-cut noodle with some ground pork, some peanuts. There's a cucumber in there. Oh yeah, I get that.
Back in Wong's own restaurant kitchen, the work begins on recreating that Chinese noodle dish, but with a few twists.
This is a typical French jus recipe, and it's basically the foundation of French sauces. So we start off with caramelized shallots, garlic, Scotch bonnet, thyme, very different kind of ingredients. And we're actually going to deglaze, where typically we would use white wine. We're going to be using some Wray & Nephew rum. And so we add this off the heat, just a little squirt, and then we actually just kind of give that a turn, flambe, kind of deglaze all those juices right at the bottom. Chef and I over here has some cashews and some red chilies toasting in the wok. Adding to this, he's going to add some ginger and garlic as well.
It leads to a final creation. Call it don don noodles, Patois style.
I'm going to add the handmade noodles, and we're tossing to combine. This is our homemade Szechuan chili oil. That's flavored with a bit of star anise, some cinnamon as well. So here we're gonna start to add some of our bok choy. We're gonna spoon some of our jerk chicken. So that's now warmed, and it's also gonna be saucy and nice and rich as well. Season it off with a little bit more of that chili oil to get a bit more of that spice on your palate as well. A few bean sprouts just to finish. That's our rendition of jerk chicken dan dan min.
This is how Wong has built his culinary career. He studied classical French cooking at the prestigious L'Institut Paul Bocuse in France, then worked for renowned chef Alain Ducasse in Paris.
I always knew I wanted to work for Alain Ducasse. and he was really the basis of my foundation in my career. He taught me a huge lesson, which was even when you can do your best, even when you feel like you're doing your best, you can always work even harder.
Then he came home to Toronto, where he worked for other big-name chefs like Mark McEwen, Michael Bonaccini, and Claudio Aprile.
Now this is a lot of smoke. Hi, I'm here.
But much earlier in life, Wong was inspired by two chefs he watched growing up.
Stephen Yan from Walk with Yan. I remember watching his episodes and people like Ming Tsai. I remember watching these guys on TV from a really young age, and I saw these Asian, American, Canadian kind of guys, and Stephen Yan being from BC, and that really inspired me. But growing up young and Asian, like I really identified with those two guys throughout my career, and kind of I would love to cook for them one day, to tell you the truth.
It helped Wong embrace his mix of cultures, roots that he didn't always appreciate as a child.
I love my heritage. I love my Jamaican, my Chinese, the whole kind of Canadian heritage that I have. And it's something that really took me a long time to fall in love with. I grew up Chinese / kind of Jamaican, and I would look in the mirror and I would see that my face is Chinese. But I go to family dinners and everyone's speaking Patois, everyone's speaking Jamaican Patois. My whole family, like they act a little bit more Jamaican than Chinese, they're not playing like mahjong, they're playing dominoes.
But he credits two women in his life for inspiring him to pursue his passion for food, his high school sweetheart and wife, Ivy.
What she taught me was that food could really be delicious, and it could be something that we could share in common.
And his other inspiration, the family matriarch.
My grandma was a great cook, and she cooked for the entire family, and she really showed me that food can show love and food can bring families together. And when I started to see that it can bring people together, I realized how powerful that could be.
It's all come together in his restaurant on Dundas West, a dream realized.
Patois is the first kind of restaurant where I get to cook the food that identifies with me, and the food that we love to eat, the food that we love to cook. I feel like we've created a bit of a safe haven for all kinds of diverse people to come and be who they are, and to really sit down at one table together and just eat great food.
A restaurant that has won accolades from foodies to food critics, but Wong says his goal goes beyond good reviews.
What I really want to achieve is happy customers, returning guests. That guest experience means a lot to me. So I make an effort to go out to the dining room whenever I can, and I like to just talk to people and just ask them how their dinner was, make sure they had a great time, and that's really important to me.
And he's on to something. Just after his restaurant opened, he had an intriguing visit with patrons at his restaurant.
They came in here to the bar, they sat down at the bar, and they just knew a little bit too much information about me, and little subtle things that I kind of picked up on. And so it being open for only 3 months, I knew like I didn't owe anybody any money. So I was sure that I was going to be getting some kind of amazing job opportunity, or I was going to get my butt beat. One of those.
Turns out they were from a restaurant company in Dubai, and they'd found Wong through social media.
They were very interested in doing like a modern Jamaican restaurant, and they looked in many different cities, and they looked in London, they looked in New York, they went all around looking for a Jamaican chef who's doing something that's a little bit more creative, and they found me, and we were 3 months opened at the time, and so I felt really blessed.
Ever since, he's been flying back and forth to Dubai, getting set to open his new restaurant right across from the iconic Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest structure.
I always want to do big things, and I'm not getting in this to just do one single restaurant, and I definitely don't want to be here just focused on one single place. But what I do know is that I need to be somewhere that's going to be a growth potential.
Always growing, learning, exploring. But for Wong, it always comes down to this.
Please be my guest. Give that a try. Nice
That
bite.
is delicious.
It's good stuff.
Good food made by a team of young chefs mentored by Wong and taking inspiration from the world around them.
What I feel like is we have the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and we all come together, kind of like Voltron, and we really unite ourselves and we focus and we have one goal. So one team, one dream.
One love.
One love.